Hi guys. Happy Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. I hope you guys had a great day. It's great because we're already like halfway through the week. Yesterday I had the Mondayest Tuesday ever because that was Monday for this week. So halfway through. Hey, how about it? Um, I got some work done this morning, had some telehealth calls. Um, I really kind of enjoy telehealth because it allows me to sit at home and be able to do what I do. But then I miss people, like it's sad. It's a catch 22. Um, Let me get that sun glare off. So yeah, had a good morning, did some work, went into the office, seen some other clients. Life's been good. Um, got home and I had really my first scare. Really got really dizzy when I got out of the vehicle, and it lasted a while. And then I told William, I'm like, might be because I haven't eaten today. When I am working, I have a hard time remembering to eat. So all morning I'm here working, I'm doing calls and I'm doing notes. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm just not going to eat. I don't even say that, guys, really. I just don't get hungry. So it's hard for me to stop and eat. Like, how do you just make yourself eat when you're not hungry? You know? Um, so I just got some food in me, a little bit of cottage cheese, a little bit of protein, a little bit of fat, a good deal for you. Um, but yeah, my day's been pretty decent. That little episode lasted for a while. Um, but I'm feeling better. So, um, it's really just kind of weird and random because I don't have a headache today. It has to be because I didn't. It just has to be. So, anytime I feel like that, though, I'm supposed to like scan my heart. And I'm still really new at that, and I don't know if I'm supposed to or not, or do it or don't. But the thing is, I could scan it all day long, and if it's nothing, my doctor's just gonna scan it out. So that's good. Um, so I want to talk about something today, and it's kind of another aspect of the stigma of mental health. What do disorders or like depression or bipolar or ADHD, what do those look like? Autism. Um, what does that look like? And what gets me is that you guys, that can be different for everybody. I'm very lucky in the aspect that I was diagnosed with depression, and nobody, I say lucky, I can't say that I was lucky. I was blessed. Nobody, I like when I told William that I was taking antidepressants, he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then I explained to him, like just the emotions and the feelings. And he's like, "I didn't even know. You just don't even show it." My family is like, "I didn't even know." Nobody knew that I was depressed. I put this smile on my face every day. And I'm not saying it was a fake smile because genuinely I'm a happy person. But at that point, during COVID, it was a little rough. I could be sitting here and just start bawling for no reason. It was worse if William was at work. It was better if he wasn't. Um, so it was just a lot, but nobody knew that I was suffering with depression, you know? I didn't look sad. I didn't lay in bed all day. I didn't, have well, yeah, I did have sleep problems, but I think that was just because I wasn't working. So then I would stay up later, talk to William, and then I would sleep later in the day. But it wasn't anything from like I didn't have insomnia. I didn't sleep my day away. My eating habits, I increased eating. So like I was feeding my feelings, like just, oh, let's just eat another thing and it'll feel better. Hence why you gain 30 pounds. But you know, I look back on it and I'm like, not even my doctor knew. So I think I've kind of touched on this before, but I'd been in and seen my doctor, and everything was good. We did our first virtual, everything was good. And then by the time we did our second virtual, because I go to the doctor every 3 to 4 months regularly because I'm a diabetic. So I see him often. And so when we did that checkup, he's like, "Hi, how are you doing?" And I'm like, poof, I busted out in tears. Like, all it took was him saying, "How are you doing?" And I lost it. And when I say I lost it, I uncontrollably was crying to the point of not being able to recover throughout that call. And I'm like, I don't see people. I'm scared to see my mom. I'm this, I'm that. And he's like, "Okay, it's okay, let's see what we can do to get this better for you, I reached out to the therapist that I was seeing previously. She wasn't available. Um, Telehealth is hard to choose therapist if they're only doing telehealth, and at the time that's what everybody was doing. There was no in person. So, um, I had to share that story of those feelings with my family, and they were just like, "I had no idea." And I'm like, "Well, the problem is that sometimes we don't have an idea because it's not like I knew immediately. I knew that I started feeling differently, but again, I had nothing. I wasn't showing it because again, when William would come in, my feelings were less. I wasn't as sad. I wasn't as lonely. I wasn't as um, I don't know. I just wasn't. It wasn't as bad because he was here. Um, Seeing my mom, like, I didn't want to go see my mom every day because what if by chance, even though I wasn't going anywhere, but at that time they didn't know if you could get COVID from groceries or whatever. So I didn't go see my mom because what if. It was just a really dark time, you know? Um, but I was talking with a client today, and she's like, "Everybody just tells me I'm so happy. And then when I have an episode of just crying or wanting to sleep all day, they're like, 'What's wrong with you?' And I want to just tell them that nothing new. I'm still feeling depressed. And I got that. Like, she did. She looks amazing. She's doing great. Um, but she's got severe depression, and she has every right to. I'm not going to get into her story, but I'm telling you that she gets up and she goes to work and she lives life like she should. But then the first time she sleeps for a 12-hour stint, family's worried and concerned. And if she, I don't know, anything that she does that's abnormal, like not smiling and acting part of life, then they question her because they don't believe that she has anything like depression going on, but she does. So it doesn't have a look. It doesn't come across our forehead depressed. Um, I remember when I was my heaviest, I can remember being so depressed, and at night is when I would binge eat. Like, I would just sit and eat. I could eat a whole package of cookies. I just ate all the time at night when I was by myself. Um, and this was years ago. But it was just habit. Like, I could binge eat crazily. And yet all day I would be like snacking in like little bites. Because the problem is I'm not a big eater. I don't like food really. I love food, don't get me wrong. I don't, I like snacks a lot better. How about that? I love good meals, yes. But at that time, snacks were my friend. And it was bad because I was living with my best friend and her boyfriend at the time at one point in my life. And I was I was in severe eating disorders, not doing good at well. I was again depressed and I was feeling all the feels, but nobody knew. And I would go out to eat with them, and I couldn't eat my meal because I was afraid somebody would say something which would hurt more. So I didn't eat very well. Like I can remember one time we went to, I think it was Chili's, and I ordered like tacos, and I got my tacos, and by the time I got my food, the restaurant had just filled up around us, and I wouldn't touch my food. And I'm like, I'm not hungry. And I gave them away. I gave them to her boyfriend, and I'm like, I'm not going to eat them. Um, because I was so worried about what people were going to say about a big girl eating two tacos. And it was because I was in the height of my depression. So then we would go back home and I could like eat everything under the sun, no problems. So eating's always been a comfort food for me, always been a comfort for me. Like it's just something I always did. Um, and nobody knew that. Nobody knew I was depressed. Nobody knew there was something going on more. They just thought I didn't eat or I, you know, couldn't eat in front of people. Um, and I have many examples like that. But the point of this is that even dating back as far as I can remember things going on in my life when I was probably at my lowest or lower points in life where I probably could have been diagnosed as depressed previously. I don't ever remember having the symptoms that the DSM 5 says. I mean, I have a DSM 5, it tells me how to diagnose, but I don't remember having all of these symptoms, right? I might have because I don't remember, but I just don't remember. Like, I don't think my mom would let me sleep for days upon days. I don't think that I would stay awake at night all the time. Um, so a lot of time people don't see, like they look at you and you're not depressed. What are you doing? Um, they don't understand, there's not an understanding of it. So when I said yesterday we could educate ourselves, um, especially, if somebody does tell you, hey, I'm just feeling a little bit down right now, or, I think I'm depressed. What you respond with is how they're going to internalize that. So if we can think about what we say so that we don't put off the wrong vibe and we can educate ourselves, then we could say, not all depression looks the same. Not all the ADHD looks the same. Not all anxiety looks the same. Um, there's a difference from person to person, and there's a difference of what it could look like to you versus everybody else. Um, I am. It's funny because I really am a nervous type to talk in front of people. I can remember being so sick every time I had to do a class speech. And to the point of I would automatically, if I knew my turn was coming up, I would have to go to the bathroom and throw up. Not really. I had to go to the bathroom and hide, and I would hide until it was past my time. And then lo and behold, I would come back out and they would make me go. But would stutter, like I would freeze, I would shake. Severe public speaking issue. Um, but I'm fine like this. I'm fine recording a video. When when we talk about doing lives, my heart goes and I get really nervous, right? Really nervous. That's a form of anxiety. And people are like, how you talk, you're friendly, you talk to everybody, you don't have a problem. Okay, but it is still a feeling that I have. It's still something that almost paralyzes me internally. Just because people don't see it doesn't mean that my insides just aren't going, ah, because they do. They just twist in knots and it gets so bad. Now it's getting better. It is because I have support. I have we have other channels. So on other channels, I'm Chatty Cathy. I'm the one that keeps the conversations going, as long as it's behind a video and it's something that is edited and gone. I think I've joined in 2 live videos with William on other people's channels. I love it because I'm not the main show. They are. It's theirs. But as far as us holding our own lives or me going live, internal madness inside of me. But nobody would know that because I really do try to work through it. Okay. Um, and I don't have people saying negative things about me. If I did, I'm to the point where I could probably let it roll off my skin until later when I'm thinking about it, and then I would worry about it or something. But it just makes me human. I am human. That's who I am. But again, not everybody presents the same. Just because they don't have a certain look or they don't do a certain thing or they say this or don't say this doesn't mean that there's not something more going on that you're just not aware of. So that's part of that conversation from yesterday. Educate yourself and think about what you're saying. Because I'm going to be honest and say, depending who it is in your life, you could make or break them. And meaning if you could make them, you could be their biggest support or you could be their biggest fear. So, I know, I know that like when I feel things now, I'm able to talk to William. Okay. Um, this hasn't always been the case because when we first got together, he totally thought my career path was crazy. And he verbalized that. And the more that we've been together and it happened pretty quick. So don't, it's nothing bad, but the more that he listened and the more that he heard and the more that I spoke about, my job and what I love doing and why I love doing it, even without giving details, but just giving part of my own life, the man became my biggest supporter, right? But I had to come back out of a show when it came to that because, again, one of his first things was that counseling was worthless. And not that he said those exact words, but something to that something to that is what he said. Okay. But again, I didn't shut down from him. I just didn't talk about things that were important or that I was feeling to me. I didn't go into details about everything because he already thought it was kind of crazy. But again, within about 6 months or so, I could talk to him about anything. It's kind of like the depression. I could have told him that I was feeling bad or lonely or sad. I could have told him. That was me, my fear, my thoughts, my feelings. And it was me trying to be strong, and that strong broke. And that strong happened to break with my doctor, which was probably good because it was deep. But I could have told him because I trusted him. I trust him today. We've been through so much, and it's amazing how secure we are because of me being able to talk to him. Like, I can tell him, I just don't feel good. I feel off. Like, when I had my stroke, I was like, I wouldn't say I was any more depressed. I just didn't feel up to life. I was shocked and I was living in fear and I was scared and I worried and I just never wanted to, I had so many expectations upon myself. Like I was disappointed in myself because I couldn't do things. And here's the man that I'm talking to and he's so supportive and he just kind of walked me through and helped me through that. I learned also to share my feelings. I was able to talk to my mom about it. I talked to my daughter about it. I felt like a burden, but I could talk to these guys, because I've learned that communication is very important. And if they at any time shut me down or made fun of or said, no, you don't look like that, or you couldn't be depressed, or you couldn't have anxiety or any of that, I wouldn't have wanted to go back to talk to them. I would have never been able to open up to them. You know, if they would have said, well, anxiety is not real, I would have shut down, you know? Um, so I think it's important that we just keep that in our mind, guys. Okay? There's not a certain look to any kind of disorder or um, diagnoses. There's just not. There's not a certain look. And we need to be mindful of what we say. And that is part of yesterday's video, you know? I can't express to you enough to just be human with people. If they open up and come to you, be there. If that's not anything you want to be a part of, tell them, you know, I'm so sorry you're going through that. I wish I could support you better, but I think you could reach out to somebody, you know, and get some further help. Lead them in the direction. If you're not able to help them yourself, lead them in the direction. Don't cold shoulder them like, ugh. Don't do that. Don't say words that might offend them, you know. Just lead them in the right direction. So, I think I'm going to title this, you know, there's no common face for a disorder, or there's not a common look or something. And the reason is because, again, look in the mirror and tell me if you see, you know, if you have a diagnosis of depression, tell me if you see somebody depressed, you know, because it's going to be yourself. You're looking at yourself, but you don't look like anybody else, you know. Diane's depression might not look like Joe's depression or Jill's depression or Mike's depression or anybody else's, or, you know, ADHD is going to look different here and here and here. It all is different. Okay. So be kind, be nice, think about what you say before you say it, and keep an open mind. And thank you guys again for watching. You guys are amazing, and I just want to thank you so much. But remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell, because I'm really trying to do more videos and be more present. And if there's something that you want to hear, reach out and let me know. Okay? For now, bye guys. Have a great evening and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.